Welcome, Sin of Siglos. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Love the
Absolutely.
setup here. I could get comfortable here. I might lay down on the couch.
It's about therapy, dude.
Yeah, it really is, man. I might go there, and I'm drinking some liquid death here, so that might put me in the mood to just kind of open up. So
Crack mine open too. Cheers.
cheers.
To
It's already
brutal
open.
water.
Exactly. Two sober guys.
Yeah. So we got something big coming up in January. Let's talk about it. So you and I have been working on this EP for a while now, and already have 2 singles out, and going to put out the full EP. So tell me a little bit about we worked together on this very extensively, but tell me about how excited you are to put out the EP in January.
Man, I guess because we've been working together for a while now, it's such a great feeling of accomplishment that we're finally going to have something out and that's tangible. People are going to be able to actually, have their hands on it. It's an incredible feeling of accomplishment for me. And the whole process has just been, I can't express how happy I am with everything. It took me back to feelings of loving music the way I did when I was a kid, because a couple of years ago I was sort of not really feeling that love anymore. Like I didn't feel, my heart wasn't as full for it anymore. And when we started working together, a couple years ago now, I think, right? It brought all those feelings back. So this is like a huge thing for me. I'm extremely happy about this. I can't wait for people to hear this. I can't wait to share this with everyone. Obviously, like you said, the 2 singles are already out, but it's just, I don't know, man. It just, to me, it feels like such an accomplishment to have an actual, EP and product out. So I can't wait. I can't wait till next month.
Absolutely, and especially since you've written all of these songs completely yourself, start to finish. So this is like your baby, which is
It's coming from my previous band, for ministry, when I would write with them. Of course, the final say was always Al, was always someone else. With this, I mean, it's me, so it's definitely a little closer to my heart, and it definitely does feel like it's it's my baby here that's finally going to be born. And also, I mean, I got to say a huge thanks to Pedro for killing it with the vocals on this. All this material in this EP, but it was just, me, you, and him in the studio doing this thing. So I can't wait, man. I'm beyond excited for this thing, and it seemed like it took forever for me, but I'm glad. I'm very happy with the product. I think people are gonna dig it. So I can't wait for it to come out.
absolutely same. I mean, it's like seeing the first video and then the second. It's already evolved so much. So I think when people hear these 3 new tracks on the EP, it's going to be even more expansive. You know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, and I think that the songs that I chose to be on this EP are different. I think each one has its own identity, and I wanted to. I mean, that's kind of what I wanted for this project. I didn't want to be completely just this type of band or this type of band. Like I always want to push the boundaries for this stuff. Even though, it's extreme metal, it's very heavy, but we can still push those boundaries. And I think we did that with this EP. I think people are going to be surprised with some of the material on here. It might not be very normal for extreme metal bands to do some of the stuff that we did on this EP, and that's cool. That's what I want, you know. That's something that I've had conversations with Pedro about, and we're both in agreement of that. We constantly want to push ourselves and push those boundaries. So, I mean, it's always going to be a very heavy, extreme, you know, it's going to be metal, obviously, but we're going to bring in different influences to it, you know.
Yeah, what I really love about the EP, because the sequencing of it, it kind of takes you on a journey. You know, it's like starts off really intense, then it's a little calms down a little bit, more intense, and down. It's like it has a journey, and it has like emotion to it. It has like this cool dynamic. So I really think the sequence of the songs you chose was perfect.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's something that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to breathe. I wanted it to, you know, take people on ups and downs and, you know, peaks and valleys and stuff like that. I didn't want it to just be, you know, one continuous, you know, thing. And I think, yeah, the sequencing came out. It's perfect, man. I just think I couldn't be happier with it, you know, and I mean, I look forward to doing more stuff and more material, which, you know, we have. But I got to say to everyone listening out there, Alex here is, in my opinion, almost like the other member of this project, because you have contributed so much more than just, you know, being, you know, our engineer, our producer, our mastering guy. Like, to me, your presence, you know, is all over this thing. So I want to say thanks for sticking by me this whole time, doing this project with me. And, you know, I mean, you remember all those nights here with just you and I working on this stuff. And I value all of your input. You know, I think you're extremely talented, and I thank you for putting your signature all over this thing, because you had a huge part of this Siglos project.
Thank you, man. That means a lot. Like I knew right when we started writing these songs, I was like, this is gonna go great. And it's like, you know, I worked with a lot of different styles of metal and different artists, and it's not every album or single I do where like literally every box was checked for me, like satisfaction wise as a producer, you know, and like the collaboration was just, it felt very, very natural and organic. And I felt like the ideas that I did contribute, you know, maybe with added production and whatnot, I feel like they just kind of fell into place naturally. And, you know, it was cool because most, like 99% of the time, like you liked, you know, one of the first things I added. So I was like, damn, so I felt like we really collaborate well, and we get each other. We have very similar writing ideas, like riff ideas and production ideas. So I felt like it was just very fluid and smooth.
Very much so. And that doesn't always happen in the studio. You know, I've worked with a lot of engineers and, you know, producers and stuff, and man, sometimes it's a struggle. And with us, I mean, from day one, it was like, and what I always tell people, I'm like, you know, Alex understands my language in the studio. Like, he gets it. Like, I don't even have to finish a sentence or an idea, and he already knows where to go with it. And that's a really cool thing to have in the studio, because, like I said, that doesn't always happen. You know, it's not very common. So the fact that we have that chemistry in here, and just very natural, you know, and right from the get-go, right from day one, it was like that. So pretty cool thing.
Yeah, man. And yeah, I like to say thank you to you as well for you know, trusting me with your baby, you know, your new project. And like I said, it was just an absolute blast, and I had a great time. And like, I feel like, you know, you have obviously your riffs are so fucking, like, they're so mechanical and fucking just gnarly and just absolutely just fucking solid. And like being able to complement that and, you know, add to that was fucking rad. So thank you for
Thanks,
having
man.
me. Yeah,
I appreciate that. It's you know, and this goes over to the remix work that we've done together. I mean, just another thing where we just got each other, and we just like understand, where we want that end, product to be. So it's just like it's always a pleasure, coming in here and working on stuff with you, because I always know it's going to sound amazing. It's going to go exactly the direction that I want it to go in. So, there's a lot more work that we have left to do. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
So I wanted to ask you too about maybe for other guitar players or metal musicians that might be listening. I want to see what your viewpoint is on feel as a guitarist, because it seems to me like there's a lot of people that maybe focus too much on the technicalities and being perfect.
Yeah.
And before they like learn how to properly like tune and intonate their instrument, they think the priorities in some people are a little bit misarranged. So I wanted to ask you, like, because I think you're either born with it or you aren't. Like there's certain guitarists and bass players and drummers, vocalists, they have just that organic, unique feel to them that can't really be replicated. People try to replicate it, but like you have that. I have a version of that. Pedro has that. Like he has his rhythm, his like internal clock, his internal feel is just right on. And so what would you say to, someone, a guitarist or someone who's maybe up and coming or just kind of still searching for that, like that tone, or like they're unsatisfied with their record so far because they're not able to really capture that feel that they've always wanted in their favorite records. So what would you say, like, to guitarists out there?
I mean, that's a sort of a tough thing to answer, because feel to me is such a natural thing. I'm not a very technical player by any means, but I think what I lack in that technicality I make up for in my pure feel and emotion. That's something that my heart comes out when I play. And am I like the most technical? Do I nail every scale, or no, I don't. But I think that feel and emotion comes through more than that. My opinion. Some guys are, they'll play circles around me with, arpeggios and this and that or whatever, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. My hat goes off to those guys that are that technical. I don't know if it's my age. I grew up in sort of an era where it was a lot of feel and a lot of just raw emotion. Guys that were a little sloppy, you know what I mean? They were hitting other strings and other notes and stuff like that. But it didn't matter, because to me what I connected with was the feel. And that to me means more than, if you can, play a scale at 220 BPM or whatever. It just doesn't appeal to me. And I mean, I'm sure it does to a lot of, guys that like that kind of stuff, which is great. But I always tell people, just try to, try to express yourself. If you flub a couple things, I think it's okay, as long as you're expressing your emotion and what you want to get out. That to me is the most important thing, way more than being a technical guy. But again, I don't know if that's because of the era I grew up in and the players that I, saw and heard, the Hendrixes and the Robin Trowers and the Ace Frehleys, and I mean, look at a guy like Frehley, right? Very influential. He's influenced, as you can see, so many, from John 5 on down, who is an amazing guitar player. Is Ace Frehley a technical guy? No, not at all. Is he kind of sloppy? Very much so. But it didn't matter. Like, we all just worshiped this guy because of they were like iconic solos and leads that he wrote, and the feel was there. Like, I mean, he could just lay on one note and bend it, man, and it just crushes you. And that to me is way more appealing than, just like all that stuff. So I don't know. I always just tell people to just express themselves and just get it out. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Yeah. I think those are all great points, and I agree with you later. Like, I have full respect, like utmost respect for the technical players,
Absolutely.
like the shredders.
Yeah,
And there's even
absolutely.
like, I think John 5 is a perfect example. Like, he's right in the middle because he has great
Yes.
feel, but he's also very technical, and the way he plays.
He's perfect example of
Perfect
that.
example because playing with like Zombie and Manson, they're on solos. Like he had so much great feel when he played with Manson. In my opinion, I loved John 5 when he played with Manson. Same thing with Rob Zombie.
Yep.
Killer feel like, and then he plays his solo project and it's just like.
He's insane.
Fucking
Like, he's
sweeping
just
everywhere,
like...
but the way he plays it is so organic, and
Yeah.
it doesn't sound robotic at all.
It doesn't
It's just
sound
so
exactly
tasteful. I just
exactly.
absolutely love his playing. He's the perfect example. So yeah, and another thing I wanted to,
just touching on that briefly, another guy that I also think is right down in the middle of that is Steve Stevens. Listen to him playing guitar, like his solo albums and stuff like that, or him soloing, unbelievable. But there's so much feel when he plays. It doesn't sound mechanical, and he's able to do both of those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just another prime example of that stuff.
Another guy, I used to be into him a little bit more when I was going to music school, but like there's the Steve Vai's, there's the Joe Satriani's, there's something about Rusty Cooley. Like he had a really, really, really organic feel as well, which I loved. But I don't really listen to the virtuoso shredder guitarists, but I have so much respect for them. But yeah, like, so let's talk a little bit about the songwriting for Siglos. Like, since we were talking about feel, another great thing I think to practice as a musician is to maybe go like a couple of weeks without listening to any music and then go write something, because it's so easy to fall into that trap of, like, say you're listening to I don't know, you're listening to Slipknot's new album for the past week and you have all those riffs in your head, and then like you go to write a song in a few days after, and then even unintentionally, like the first riff you write, you're like, this is sick. Oh wait, this sounds familiar. Why does it sound familiar? It's because it's like the second song on the new Slipknot record that you're listening to like over and over. So I think it's really, really a great thing to practice, trying to maybe just take a break from music for a couple of weeks and listen to podcasts or nothing, and then write a song. What I feel that you accomplished with the Siglos material is, when I listen to it, I don't hear anything else. I just hear Siglos, which I think is very, very important for musicians coming out with new music, because it's so, you want to be able to stand out, you want to be able to be instantly recognizable, and I think you've accomplished that with these songs.
Thanks, man. I completely agree with that. I go through periods sometimes, where I'll listen to music, but it's sort of in the background. I'm not like really, like actively sitting there listening to something. And it could be music that is it could be Spanish mariachi music. It could be anything else, right? The last thing I'll listen to is this style of music. And if I'm gonna go into writing, I usually back off from everything for a little bit. It's almost like it just cleanses your palate there, and you kind of like start fresh, because that definitely happens, man. That happens to people all the time, where they'll be listening to something and then all of a sudden they'll start writing something that sounds just like that. So I think that's a very valid point, and I think it's something that people should try. It kind of like resets, your ideas and where your brain's at. Very important to just kind of take a break from it, step away from it for a little while. Sometimes I go through periods, man, where I don't pick up a guitar for weeks sometimes, man. And then all of a sudden I'll pick it up and I'll start doing shit that I never thought I could do and had never done before. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how that works. So
yeah, absolutely. I've experienced that as well. Another thing that I think is great exercise is, say you want to write like a new heavy riff, but you're kind of stuck, picking up an acoustic guitar and just kind of strumming and jamming out on that, and then kind of getting used to that, then going back to your electric, and then you'll have a completely new frame of reference.
Absolutely.
And then you'll start playing some random, like some riff you would never just instantly come up with because you were, playing acoustic. So I think like maybe like stuff like that is great to try. Like also maybe grab a bass, you know,
A different instrument,
play
absolutely.
piano.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't know how to play piano, you just like get a MIDI controller and just, you know, play a melody or like play
Yeah.
some chords.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll gather an idea from that, and then you can transfer it to a riff. And then it's something that you would have never just naturally come up with. So
Yeah.
there's so many tricks to songwriting to like change things up. And I was wondering, are there any other things that you like to do to like to give yourself a new frame of reference?
I actually do all of those things. Like a lot of the stuff I'll start writing on acoustic or on bass. I have those things kind of just handy, you know, right at home to where I'll just grab those real quickly and easily. And or keyboards. A lot of times, a lot of stuff that I write on a keyboard. I'm not a keyboardist. I mean, I know my way around it. I can do, you know, stuff in the studio, but I'll just start writing melodies or, you know, chords or ideas on a keyboard, and then transfer that over to like, you know, the guitar. But it gives you a whole different sort of like a sort of different point of reference, really, and you can take it to different areas if you do that. So I'm definitely not one of those that's just grabs the electric guitar and, you know, with my distortion pedal and just like, that's not how I write. I'll write on acoustic guitar, I'll write on a bass, I'll write on banjo sometimes, you know, or keyboard and stuff.
You have a banjo?
I have a banjo,
Nice.
man. Yeah, I got a banjo too, and it's the you know 5-string. It's a legit banjo. It's not like a guitar that looks like a banjo and sounds like a banjo, because there's that. You can get a guitar that looks and sounds just like a banjo and you play it exactly the same way. I got like the real banjo to where it like screws me up big time, because like the strings are all fucked up, and like the 5th string starts at the 5th fret, I think.
Well, I have no idea. How to
Dude,
play
it
a
is
banjo.
bizarre, dude. And but I wanted to teach. I didn't want to go the easy route. I wanted to actually do it the right, correct way.
That's a perfect example. That'll force you to write something weird.
Absolutely.
You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah, because when I first went to go look at them, you know, I told him I was looking for a banjo, and he goes, I have this, and he showed me, and it looks shape of a banjo, 6 strings, and you play it exactly like a guitar. Sounds like a banjo, so like you sound amazing like right away if you play the guitar. But I was like, what's that? And he goes, oh, that's like the real. I forget what the name is, the term for that, the actual real banjo, and it's 4 strings up until either the 5th or the 6th fret, and then the 5th string. Yeah. So there's a peg on the fretboard. That's where the 5th string starts, and that's your high string, which would be our low string on the guitar. It is completely bizarre, dude.
Wacky.
And that's So that's what I got.
You ever played a ukulele?
I have a ukulele as well.
Those are like that was weird for me to get used to at first. I was like, then you basically you have to relearn like chords.
Yeah, dude, it's completely different. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, to me, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of challenge myself and push myself, and not just be like, you know, oh yeah, I can play this banjo. Well, no, you really can't. You're playing the guitar that, you know, looks and sounds like a banjo. So I'd like to get a sax again.
Ah,
because I played sax all through junior high and high school, and I was pretty good at it. I was in concert band, jazz band, like doing legit stuff, winning competitions. I have trophies for playing the fucking sax. Yeah, I was in marching band, and then I stopped playing it after high school. And but I'd like to get another one.
Put it on the new Siglos track.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would. Totally, I'd find a spot for it. Yeah, totally.
I played clarinet briefly.
You did?
In band. Yeah. And
like marching? Were you in marching band?
No, it was just like high school
just band. Yeah. Band class.
I liked it. Dude, I love fucking orchestral instruments, dude.
Yeah.
So fucking much. Like,
me too.
I just can't get enough. Like,
well, as you can tell, like the stuff that we do. Oh
my God.
I love those sounds,
The shit we added to some of those tracks are just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it just creates such a different vibe. Like, even if you just add, you know, a couple tracks of fucking cello or a couple tracks of fucking bass or like violin, bassoon, fucking timpanis. Like, I fucking love adding timpanis to this shit.
I mean, imagine like just having a song idea where it's drums and bass, right? Now add some violins or cellos underneath it. I mean, it turns it into an entirely different thing. Like, I love doing that stuff, and I'm glad we were able to do that with Siglos, because it just added a whole new dimension to these songs.
Yeah, and like the outro of Morir, holy shit, the French horns on there, when that every single time when those come in, it's like chills, dude.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I had a few other people say like that part, dude, that outro,
Like the
is
scene
like,
out of a movie or something, man.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you're open to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a blast adding that stuff.
Totally.
So yeah, what are the plans then for 2023 for the project? Like, ideally, in a perfect world, what would you like to have go down?
Well, I mean, the EP's coming out January 27th. In a perfect world, ideally, I would love to take this out live at some point. I just, man, I always think about doing these songs in a live setting, and just the impact, and just the heaviness, and just, I just think it would go over, great, and I would love to see and feel that on stage. So ideally, I would love for that to happen. I'd love for the EP to come out. I'd love for us to do a full length this year, as in 2023 as well, and to take this out on the road. Ideally, I'd love to see this in festivals in Europe, and that whole. I could see this at Wacken, or with Full Force and
All of them.
Bloodstock and all that shit. I see these songs, man, like going over, in crowds like that. They're very sort of anthemic, and they have like that kind of like, I could see people's just arms just up in the air for these things. So, we'll see what happens. For now, it's like, I'm looking forward to this EP coming out. I want people to hear it, check it out, and hopefully people are, as into it as we are, for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Any plans to do a new video for one of these new three tracks, or are you gonna wait until the
I think
next?
we're gonna wait. Yeah, I thought about that, but I mean, we did the two already. I thought about doing a third, maybe. I haven't ruled it out yet, but as of right now, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Maybe after the EP comes out. But I think the two. I love the two videos that we have out. But we'll see. Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the addition of these 3 new tracks, I think it really presents the full spectrum of the project, and the even the other 5 songs that we've started. Like, once those are ready, it's gonna expand even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I think you did a really, really good job of, like I said, I feel like it's a new genre in a way, because I haven't heard, maybe it's because I don't really seek out this style of music, but this type of metal with Spanish vocals is just different to me. Maybe there's bands I haven't heard of that are doing something similar, but I don't know. Like, to me, it feels like you forged a new genre, in my opinion.
I mean, I think, not that I'm trying to pat myself on the back here at all, but I think that we did something a little different. Mixing the Spanish vocals along with this style of music, and in the music, I mean, we're also bringing in some sort of Latin feel to it as well. But also, I mean, there's the whole orchestral thing that we're bringing into this. It's like a bunch of different things that we mixed in this pot, and you're right. And I agree with you that I don't, unless there's bands that I just don't know of or haven't heard of, I don't know of many doing this thing.
Yeah.
Where people can say, oh, it sounds like this, or, it sounds like this band or that band. I haven't heard that. I'm not saying that they're not out there, but I just haven't heard them. So I really think that we got something special here. I think this, the collaboration of me, Pedro, and you, I think we really nailed something with this. So I'm extremely happy with it. Yeah.
I'm so glad, dude,
Yeah.
because like, yeah, we've slaved away on these tracks, spent a lot of time, a lot of energy,
A
and
lot of hours, man.
a lot of
A lot of
hours.
work.
And yeah, I am also very happy with how it came out, and very proud to have been a part of it and to help you
Yeah.
bring your vision to life. And yeah, I think everyone's gonna love it. I think they're gonna love having an actual physical album that they could purchase.
Yeah.
Which is seems to be, unless you're a signed band already. It's like it doesn't seem like more independent bands are doing that as much. So I think
Yeah.
that's awesome to have
Yeah.
available. And yeah, the artwork is sick. Like he totally nailed it.
Nestor
Man.
nailed the artwork.
Yeah.
Our artist, Nestor Avalos, just completely, I reached out to him and I said, Nestor, we're going to do this EP. I want to get some artwork going. And he asked me a couple of questions. He wanted the lyrics. He wanted to hear the songs because he very much kind of gets into what he's working on, right? And so we talked a little bit. He sent me a couple of ideas, and I was like, more this style, a little less that style. I kind of had a vision, and I couldn't explain it to him. It was really bizarre because what we ended up with is sort of what I had in my head, but I couldn't quite explain it to him. So he would like draw up different things and then send them to me. And then once I saw that one, I was like, that's it. Like, that's the thing. That's what I'm seeing in my head. And he just knocked it out of the park, man. I think he did an amazing job. And there's actually, we're going to be releasing a little, there's more artwork that we haven't shown yet. That'll come out after the EP comes out. That he did that just completely blew my mind. So very happy with the way the artwork came out as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of detail. It's like
if you really look at and study it, man, there's a lot of stuff going on in there.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe talk about a little bit about that and what the message is?
So a lot of what he put down on paper for the art was what he heard lyrically. And if you ask different people that have seen the artwork, they'll tell you different things that they're seeing in the artwork. And that's kind of what we wanted. Like, that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted people to kind of like look at it and say, oh, I see this, or I see like a Aztec warrior, and this other person's like, oh, I see the dragons, and I see like, sort of like the Aztec calendar in there, and that's what I want. I want people to kind of like take their own thing, you know what I mean? Look at it, and I wanted it to touch them in their own way, rather than me just say, this is what it is. And that's what you're seeing. No, I want people to, they're going to see different things. We can both look at something. You're going to see something that I maybe won't see in it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the idea behind that. It was a mixture of all those things, a mixture of the lyrics, and all those different. Yeah, there's the Aztec, influence in there. Some religious stuff that's in there as well. But I want people to like kind of look for it and kind of really dive in there, and see what they get out of it. So
yeah, leaving it up to like personal interpretation.
Yeah, definitely.
Is I love when art represents that, and same with music and lyrics, because I think there's some lyrics like Pedro's lyrics. Some of them are very, very direct and obvious, and some of them are like they could be interpreted in many different ways.
Yeah.
So I think so it makes sense that he was listening to the tracks while he did it.
Yeah. That was like the one thing he was like, I got to hear the tracks. I got to hear the music. He goes and send me the lyrics. Because he really gets into whatever project he happens to be working on. So, and I love that about him. I think he's very talented. I think he's going to do great things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has so many killer past album covers, and he's worked with a lot of great bands too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, anything else you want to add to tell the listeners, tell the fans about the new record?
I mean, I want to say thanks to just everyone that's watching, listening, people that are that have continued to follow me throughout my career, people that are still here. I can't thank you enough for, sticking with me through this musical journey. It means a lot that people still care. It means a lot that people are still here. I get messages, emails all the time from people, and they're just like, I couldn't be happier and more, I don't know, just more loved, and it's such a great feeling. And I just always want to say thank you to everyone that cares, that gives a shit. You know what I mean? I've been doing this a long time, and I feel extremely lucky. I feel extremely blessed to be able to continue to do this. I'm in a amazing place in my life right now where I can just do whatever I want. Musically, I'm doing everything that I've always wanted to do. I never thought I would, at this age, be doing this heavy music. I thought, if anything, maybe I'd be lighten up or something, but I seem to be getting even darker and heavier with it, which is great. I'm just doing everything that musically that I've ever wanted to do. And, next year I could be doing something this way, that way, whatever. I'm just feeling very blessed right now and very, very lucky. Not everyone gets the opportunity or the chance to do what they love. I do, and I have, and it's all because of, I've had a career because of people out there, listening, and so, a huge thanks to everyone, because I really honestly mean that. I don't just say that, and people know, people that have met me, people that know me know I don't take anything for granted. It's been a long, tough road, and I appreciate everything and everyone along the way. Everyone that's, every band member I've been with, every band, every person I've interacted with. As cliche as it sounds, I mean, without all those people, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So, just a huge thanks to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing to really to say to everyone listening too is it's about, a lot of it too is about never giving up and really believing in yourself as an artist, because this is not, this is the long game. This is not this is about the longevity and continuing to, believe in yourself and push forward your goals and your dreams. And yeah, the society is just, there's going to be so many roadblocks and things that will potentially knock you down, or how easy it is. Like, I've seen so many people just conform to the norms in society, and when things get tough they give up, or they just they'll try and give up, and then it's too hard, so they'll just get a normal job and settle down. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, I think something to really, really take home is, only you are going to care about yourself the most in this world. So if you really want something and you really, really want to follow your dreams and have the best possible life you can, especially like we were talking about, the music industry here, is like, you really have to have grit and persistence and drive and just absolutely go for it, and not take no for an answer. Like, you have to absolutely just do it. And you're a perfect example of that.
Thank you. I mean, it's total perseverance. Growing up, when I first started playing out in the LA, scene and all that stuff, all you hear is no. All you hear is, oh, that's not going to happen, or, you're never going to make it. All I heard was, you're never going to make it. You're never going to get signed. You're never going to tour. You're never going to do all of those things, right? I had blinders on, and I never listened to those things, and I never took them to heart. Heard them, and sometimes it's tough to hear those things. But I don't know if it was my stubbornness, or my perseverance, or just the love for music that I had that just completely outweighed all of that stuff. And my goal as a kid was to be in a band, make a record, go on tour. Like, that was like, that's what I wanted to do. And had I listened to those people, I would have stopped a long time ago. And even when you do get there or start to get there, more people are going to come out that are very unhappy with their own lives, that are going to just try to bring you down. So you've got to stick to your guns. You can't give up. If this is what, talking about music, if music's what you love to do, and I guess this can go for everything in life, whatever it is that's in your heart that you want and that you love to do, that's what you need to do, and you need to continue no matter what people are telling you. There's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be ups and downs, but it's how you pick yourself up and continue to move forward. That's the thing that I've been able to do. I've been knocked down many times, but I never stayed down. I always dusted myself up, got up, and just continued to move forward. And again, I don't know if it's me being stubborn or me just still having those blinders for what my passion is and for what I love to do. So, I mean, I'm always going to do music, whether I'm up here or down here, I'm still going to be going this way. So, that's something that I think I'll, till the day I die, you know what I mean? I'm always going to be writing music. I'm always going to be doing music to some capacity. So I always tell people, just follow your dream. People are always going to be telling you, you can't do this, you can't do that. Usually those people are the ones that didn't do it.
Right.
So it's very tough out there in music, but I don't know, man, just to me, I didn't want it for any other reason. I didn't want it to, like, I didn't want the fame per se. I didn't want, like, the drugs or the girls or any of that stuff. It was the love of music. Like, that's what it was for me. So that's what kept me going all these years, and just not wanting to give up. And I'd hear that shit, and if anything, it just made me push even harder. And I've been very lucky, but I put in a ton of work. I never sat around waiting for shit to happen. I always made shit happen for myself. I always picked up the phone. I didn't wait for the phone to ring. And that was just my work ethic and my, the way I approached this thing. I wasn't going to wait for something to happen. Always made something happen for myself. And because I'd always get that from people like, oh, you're so lucky. Like, you get, why do you get these gigs? Or how come you get this gig and I don't get it? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, it's a 24/7 hustle. And I mean, I put in the work, and from playing backyard parties to playing at the Forum. I mean, it was like, it was all work, nothing came easy, nothing. But I enjoyed the ride, and I wouldn't change those. I wouldn't trade those early tours of sleeping on park benches and, sharing one hotel room with like 6 guys. And I wouldn't trade any of that because I think it made me appreciate things even more once I did get past that, but a lot of perseverance and a ton of work. Don't be afraid to work. I think
Be afraid to not work.
Exactly.
Because if you're not,
exactly.
if you're not constantly
Oh,
hustling
man.
and moving forward, there's going to be the second you slow down, there's going to be like hundreds of people passing you.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just how it is. Like when I'm driving, on the freeway, okay, when I'm trying to merge, or if I'm slowing down, I'm not like, when it's great, like in Los Angeles, it's like, even when you're going fucking 70 miles an hour, it's still gridlock. Because people are fucking just trying to go as fast as possible. And that's kind of like my metaphor for the music industry is like, if you slow down a little bit, there's going to be people, if you're not like
going right by you,
being aggressive, you're going to be left behind. And that's kind of how I think of it. It's like, it's true. I mean, you have to constantly be, if the phone's not ringing, call someone, like create something for yourself, because
Totally.
yeah, there are some people that get lucky and they'll be handed the perfect gig, but 99.9% of everyone else, you have to create it for yourself. You have to make the calls, shake the hands,
Yeah.
make it happen. And it might take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, but I feel that success is subjective. It's about,
Yeah.
if success to you is making a record, whether it sells 10 or 10 million copies,
Yeah.
then you're successful. If it's
Absolutely.
about what it is to you. And
Yeah.
there are people that'll say, oh, if you're not selling millions of records and playing the best festivals and touring all the time, and you don't have a huge mansion and all these cars as a musician, then you're not successful.
Right.
They just see it like the money, like the dollars and the things, the possessions. And to me, it's totally not that. So yeah, everyone keep that in mind. It's success is whatever you want it to be. If your goal is to, make a shitload of money in music, then it's possible. But if your goal is if you just want to make a bunch of money, like there's plenty of other careers where you can make a lot more money way easier. Okay,
Yes.
so
Very much so.
but don't let other people in the industry, or anyone for that matter, define what your success is, because it's going to be different for everybody. And it's just about, are you happy? Are you still productive? Are you still inspired? Are you still loving what you're doing? And I feel like,
Well, that's what it ultimately comes down to.
right, because I know you feel that way. I know you're grateful. I feel that way. I'm grateful for everything I have, and all the great artists I've worked with, and having to work on this record with you, and like everything I do at this point, like it's very, very special to me, and I take it very seriously because it's what I've always wanted. So, people could look at my career or yours or whoever's and go, well, yeah, that's cool, but they didn't do this or they didn't do that. It's like, well, fuck you. I don't care. Like that's not what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah.
All right, Sin, thanks so much for coming by and being on the podcast, and congratulations on the new record. Can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And congratulations to you too, because this is a big, you're part of this thing, man.
Fuck yeah.
Like a huge part of this
Fuck
thing.
yeah. Thank you so much for that, too.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and be sure to check out the new Siglos record in January. And thank you again, Sin, for being on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers.